This video is powered by USAGundam. Visit USAGundamstore.com and enter the code JOEY10 to receive 10% off your next purchase. Hey everybody, welcome back to another review. In today's review, we will be taking a look at Arya from Suyata. Now, Suyata is a modeling company based in China that have a huge variety of model kits from what I've seen. I've seen everything from Titanic to Samurai Warriors to Arya to planes, tanks. So they go all over the place, which is really, really cool. I mean, they reach a big, wide variety of audience that way. But Arya here is from their The Hunter's Poem line. And as you can see, she is a female mech warrior. So it's like a mech-human hybrid thing, I'm assuming. And she comes with her dog robot companion and a motorbike. So as you can see, you actually get a lot of bang for your buck in this because it's technically 3 kits in one. So I'm really excited about this. This is totally different than what I'm normally used to. So this is going to be super refreshing for me and a new experience. So with all that said and done, let's get to unboxing. So before getting to what's actually in the box, I did want to take a closer look at the exterior of the box itself. Of course, you've already seen the front here, but here's a better look at it. This is Arya with her dog companion and her motorbike with what I would say would be Wolverine-esque claws on the motorbike. So the motorbike's got a real beast feel to it to me. She also, as you can see, comes equipped with a shield and sword. On this side, you can see she also has a helmet that you can do in 2 different ways. There's a better look at each product. And here we have, front and back view, what the shield can do, stuff like that. On the sides, it's just that same art as the front, but on the other side of the box, we have more product placement shots, the shot of the decal sheet that it comes with, and it says here that you can actually do it in either a white color palette or a black color palette. And here are some warnings and stuff like that, and some QR codes if you wish to scan those. As you can see, this box is literally full of plastic. It is packed all the way to the top with plastic. So in the spirit of having a thorough review for you guys, we are just going to take a look at each runner separately. So starting off with runner A, here we have what looks to be most of the motorbike parts done in a dark blue, maybe a navy blue. Continuing on to runner B, that is more of the same dark blue plastic as runner A, and it looks like a continuation of bike parts. Now, as you can see where my hand is, I did have 2 parts already off of the runner here. Not a worry, they were in the bag, so all is well there. Runner C, done in that same dark blue plastic, but this time looks to be more of pieces for Arya. Runner D, done in a light purple or lavender with a what looks to be action base here with the symbol for the Hunter's Poem there. That's a nice touch there. Runner E, done in black plastic. As you can see are the wheels for the motorbike and what looks to be 2 halves of a shotgun. Runner F, also done in the black plastic. Looks to be maybe parts of the motorbike, Arya's legs, and some weapon parts. And here we have runner G, which is done in a light gray plastic, which as you can see are more maybe interior pieces of the motorbike. Runner H, also in that light gray plastic, looks to be even more pieces for the motorbike. Of course, I could be wrong with some of these as this is my first time building this. Now we start getting to the point where we have the same runner in multiple colors. As you can see here, we have runner J, which is in this really, really vibrant yellow, which seems to be, say, the little side packs for the dog and some pieces for the motorbike. But we also have a light gray version of runner J. As with runner J, we also have 2 runners of K in black and in white. Once again, same runner, just different color, and it looks to be the different versions of the body armor for Arya. Next, it skips all the way to L, and we have a flesh-colored L and a dark blue L. And as with the previous, M is the same. We have a flesh-colored M and a dark blue M, and it looks to be body pieces for Arya. And moving right along to N, we have the clear orange pieces for weapons and visors and such. Here we have runner R, which is in a slightly darker purplish gray, looks to be, and it is for weapon pieces and some odd end pieces for the armor. We do have a small selection of polycaps. Here we have a little baggie of hands. There is this runner, which is X1 and X2, and there was this piece of paper here in with it, and it says correction, so I'm assuming that these pieces are to either replace something in the manual and correct it, but of course I will get to that whenever I assemble it. And last but not least, we have the face runner. As you can see on this side, there are 3 completed faces with her green eyes and everything, and there are 3 different emotions. And on this side, we have 3 blank faces, which you can use the added decals to customize faces of your own. Speaking of the decals, here is a good look at the decals that come with the kit. These are water slide decals. And to wrap up the unboxing portion of the video, we'll take a quick look at the instruction manual here. Of course, the beginning, you have your diagram of all of the runners to make sure you have everything that you need. And then it goes into the assembly instructions. But one thing they do that I really enjoy is they have a rundown of what runners you will need for the section that you're on. So that was the head section. We go over to the body section. It tells you what runners you're going to need to assemble that section. It makes for a very smooth process when building, and it makes it where you're not really searching and hunting around for runners. And then we have a little rundown on where to put the decals. And then on the back side, I'm assuming this is maybe the next in line. Her name is Angela. And of course, these are 1/12 scale kits. All right, so about 4.5 hours later, I have all 3 of the sections of the build complete. And as you can see, this is the color scheme that I went with because, as stated before, all of these yellow pieces can also be done in gray. And what I actually learned as I was going along in the build is the configuration I have her in right now is considered the armored variant, and runner D actually is consisted of what would be normal configuration. So there's a lot of options as far as customization goes on this kit. Now, of course, if you're going to paint it, it really doesn't matter what color the pieces are at that point. But if you're just wanting something that looks really great right out of box, this pretty much does anything you want it to. All of the flesh color on her can actually be changed out for that dark blue, so you can actually have it look like she's got a full suit on. All of the white pieces, of course, can be black if you want them to be, and all of the armor pieces can be switched out for non-armored pieces. So there is a lot of customization. And as far as the build itself goes, it was a very pleasant and very refreshing build. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I haven't really built anything like this, so it really was a very new experience for me and a very pleasant one. Most of the pieces, if not 90% of the pieces in this kit, are undergated, so I was able to use my USAGundam store single blades here and just blast through this snap up of this. I mean, I didn't really do any cleanup. You will see a couple of nub marks here and there, but for time constraints, I didn't really do any cleanup on this kit, and it still looks phenomenal. And one other note that I wanted to touch base on before actually reviewing each 3 of these is there was a few fitting issues that I want to address, but they weren't terrible. They all consisted of the yellow pieces, which I would assume would probably be the case with the gray counterparts to these pieces, but the shoulder pieces up here and the rear view mirrors on the bike, I had to drill out and make the holes bigger for the pegs to be able to mate the pieces together. But other than that, this entire kit came together without a problem at all. So starting off with probably my favorite part of this build, the motorcycle. Now the motorcycle, it's got so many awesome qualities about it, and it's almost beast-like, right? So this is her shield on the front, which is detachable, but it gives me like Ghost Rider feel because it looks like a skull. And on the sides here, we have basically Wolverine claws. It's like a Wolverine gauntlet almost, but it just also adds to that whole demonic beast-ish kind of feel. And then back here we have the tail, which is articulated, so you can actually move that around pretty much anywhere you want, and it's got that awesome blade on the end. So it's almost a like mechanical beast that she's riding, which I really like. Now it can, of course, stand on its own because it has the two wheels on the front, but of course it does have a kickstand here, which you can put down and raises the back wheel off of the ground, but you don't really need it because, like I said before, it does stand on its own. Of course, all of the yellow pieces can be gray. I opted for the yellow because I like a little bit of the pop that it brings. As you can see here, there's a little bit of clear orange detail there for, I guess, say, turn signals, because maybe she needs turn signals. But aesthetically, I like the color palette of this, and I like the overall look of it. As far as articulation on this thing, the back wheel, of course, does turn freely. The wheels are just in plastic. We've already went through the tail, and these little gauntlets on the side actually can open up, and each of these claws are articulated, and each of these wheels can move up and down ever so slightly. So to, like, say, take a turn, she would have it this way and the wheels would be turning, and this way to go this way. So that's a pretty cool little feature there. The wheels do turn, but they're very, very tight. And of course the shield detaches here. And just to take a quick look at her shield while we have it in front of us, it is very, very nice. I love the color separation. Once again, you can choose however you want to do this. The yellow pieces can be gray, and the white piece can be black. Just taking a quick look at the back of the shield, it's a little bit hollow, but that's okay. It does have a kickstand for the shield, so you can actually put that down and have it displaying the shield standing up like so. And these pieces here can fold out. Now, I do wish that there was a kind of a holding plate to go over the top of these. There isn't, unfortunately, so they do have a tendency to pop off pretty easy. But, you know, that's not really the end of the world. But as you can see, it kind of does a reminiscent of the Death Scythe shield, the Buster shield, where those little things come out like that. So the shield, I do believe, is a very nice touch. You can have her holding it, and we'll go over that in a little bit, but honestly, it just makes the bike look so cool that I think I'm just going to keep it on the bike. And one other point of articulation, now that we can see it a little bit better without the shield there, is the handles do turn back and forth. There also is a second set of pegs in the back that actually swing out. And there is one other thing that you can do to change the look of this bike. If you don't like these claws in the front, you can simply detach them, and you get some cover plates that you can simply just line up and put in place and have those claws now gone. So if you want the more sleek look, then you can have that, of course. All right, so that pretty much sums up the bike. Next, we will move on to the dog. So moving right along to her little dog companion here, this thing is adorable. And what I consider this thing is probably like a companion to carry, say, ammo packs, because these little packs here, per the water slides, you can pretty much make these whatever you want. So they can be ammo packs, health packs, or whatnot. So this is like her little companion to aid her in whatever she's doing. Taking a look at this thing a little closer, the detail on it is actually really nice. Nice little detail in the legs there. As you can see, it's got a little bit of mechanical detail there. Got the little ammo packs or whatever they are, which are detachable, of course. And of course, if you don't like the yellow, that's not a problem because they do come in gray as well. Here we have the little missile pods, or I believe they are missile pods on the back, which have nice detail. They have like what looks to be a little exhaust in the back and some missiles up front. He's got a little bitty tail, and he has a little visor up front that can open up as well, and there is a water slide that can go down in there. The visor, if you don't like the orange, can also be just black. And as far as the articulation goes, of course, the packs can be removed. The missile pods don't really do anything. They're just kind of stationary. The neck can move up and down, as so. The head can move back and forth, but has no up and down. The up and down comes from the neck. The ears can move back and forth as well. They're just on a peg. The legs can move forward and back. There's also a second joint here that can move forward and back. And the little feet can move up and down, and the little tail can move up and down. So that pretty much covers the little dog. I love this little dog. For what it is, it's actually really interesting. There's still customization options for whether you want it to be more stealthy or like the way I have it, which is not very stealthy. But I like the fact that they actually implemented customization options for this little guy, and it actually has some really interesting articulation for what it is. And now for the main part of this kit, which is Arya herself. And as you can see, this is the configuration that I chose to have her in, and as you can also see, you can have her standing on her own. Now, it's not the hardest thing in the world, but she is a little bit off balance because of how small her feet are. But it is very possible to get her to stand on her own. But in case you want to do any kind of aerial poses or just have her standing without having to worry about her falling over, it does come with a base stand here, of course with that hunter symbol there. And of course it's like any other kind of base where it has multiple points of articulation, and in order to attach it to Arya, she has this port right in her back that you would just plug straight into, like so, and voila, she is now on the base. So moving right along to the visuals of this kit, as you can see, the color separation is phenomenal on this kit. There is no nub marks really at all, as everything is basically undergated on this kit, so you have really no need to paint it if you don't want to. Especially if you use the faces that are already pre-done for you. You can just assemble this, put it up on your display, and it will look phenomenal right out the get-go. Starting up here with the head, of course, with those faces you saw earlier, I have the little smiling face on this one, but the hair is a really, really beautiful color, in my opinion, and very well done. The only nub mark to be really seen is maybe like one little one there, but other than that, it's not too bad. And of course, to be able to swap the faces, you will have to remove some parts of the hair to be able to access the face to swap it out. Moving down, of course, I went with the more white aesthetic, so we have the like what looks to be rib cage, which I really like that as far as the hunter aspect goes. And of course I went with the armored look. So here we have the yellow on the sides down to the forearms. Now these forearms are the X1 and X2, which is the correction that we looked at earlier, as the manual actually has it multiple pieces to be put together for the forearms, but those pieces aren't actually in the runners. So they supplied these pieces here to make up for that, so you will have to do the armored one. You'll have to use the X1 and X2. Down to the belly area, I opted to use the armored colors, but you can opt to do flesh color there. And moving up the back, we have some detail here for, say, the suit, and up in the back we have more of that armor flowing into the neck piece, which then flows back down to the chest. So I do like the way that looks there. And we have a couple little purple bits here and there. Down to the legs, because I went with the armored look, she has these little garter belts here that will house her, or hold her little side pistols. And of course, with the legs, like with anything else on this kit, you can also have this white be black, but I liked the color combination of the white with purple and a little bit of splash of yellow here and there. So she's got her little knee pads, and down at her feet, done in actually a lot of pieces. There's a lot of pieces that make up these feet, but done in multiple colors there. As far as articulation goes on this kit, the neck is on a ball joint, so of course that gets you all sorts of twisting and all the range of motion that a ball joint gives. The base of the neck is on a swivel, so you do get some up and down as far as the neck goes. The upper torso is on a ball joint, so you get all sorts of range of motion there. Not much on forward ab crunch, but you do get a pretty good back bend there. The waist is on a peg, so you get some really good range of motion as far as twist at the waist. The arms can go up this far. The armor pieces on the arms do hinder that a bit. They are just kind of floating in space there. So if you did not have these on, of course you would be able to get a little bit more range of motion up. You do have rotation here at the shoulder. You do have bicep rotation as well. You do have a double jointed elbow, which gets you well over 90 degrees of bend there at the elbow. And the wrist is on a kind of a ball swivel. So it is a ball that can get you rotation, but it's also a swivel that gets you up and down motion. Moving down to the legs, she can do basically the full splits. Forward motion, you do get some pretty good forward kick. On back though, you basically get nothing. You do have thigh rotation right there at that garter belt area. You do have a full knee bend, which can get you all the range of motion that you would ever want. Of course, that knee pad doing a very good job at hiding that joint in the middle. And as far as the feet go, you do get a little bit of forward and back motion out of the ankle, and you have a hinged toe. And moving right along to the multiple accessories that Arya has, here we have the two pistols with pistol holders. Of course, the pistol can come out of the pistol holder, and as you can see, it does have some pretty nice surface detail on it, and it's just molded all in that black plastic. Next up, we have my favorite accessory that she has, which is this really, really awesome sword done in this magenta color, or this lavender color and light gray with the clear orange like beam effect blade to it. I like the aesthetic of this blade, and it's riddled with, you know, little details all the way through. Even the clear plastic piece has a lot of nice mechanical molded detail in it. And moving along, we have this nice shotgun, of course all molded in that black plastic. And it's just two halves put together like so. But it does have this weird little deal here on the front that can fold up to cover up the barrel. Not really sure why, but that is a point of articulation. Otherwise, it's just two halves molded together. And lastly, we have this, I guess would be considered a weapon holder. It does attach to her back via this port up here. And basically it's just two halves put together, but it does hold all of her weapons. So you have the shotgun here, which just attaches there. And the inside of this is a sheath for the sword, which in turn just slides in like so. So she can have all of her weapons put on one unit. And of course she has multiple hands, actually a lot of hand options to choose from. There are a left and right of each type of these. Of course, they're the closed fists that are on her currently. You have the open hand for the, or the holding hand for the weapon. You have the outstretched open hand here for any kind of dynamic poses. You have another type of holding hand here with an outstretched index finger. You have the regular open hand, just kind of a relaxed pose there. And last but not least, you can have her doing the peace symbol. Arya also comes with an alternate head. As you can see, you would just pop her head off and pop this on, but this is what would be considered the motorcycle helmet. And it's very nice, done in multiple different colors. You know, you got the light gray here and that dark blue in the back. and a lot of clear orange for, say, the visor and these little deals on top. Now, these deals on top can be configured in multiple different ways. It does come with these little, I guess you could consider cat ears or horns, whatever they are. They can actually go in place of the ones on the side. And one of the more silly aspects of this kit to me is this little spindle. It can go on the forehead up here, but I opted to just go the normal route as that looks better to me. But, you know, these are options, and options are always good in kits like this. And as far as storage for the weapons, of course, the little pistols with the holders will go on each leg, like so. And as stated before, all the rest of the weapons compact into this unit here and can be plugged onto her back via that port I discussed earlier. Now, going back to the shield for a second, there is a way for Arya to actually have the shield attached to her, but to do so, there is going to be a little part swapping to do, and it involves actually taking the arm completely apart almost, because this piece here would be to replace the outside of the bicep area there. So while you are building her, you either have to have it in mind that you want her to have the shield on or not, or if you don't mind disassembling, you can disassemble the arm, put this piece on, but what this piece does is basically just pegs where it would peg onto the bike, like so, and it would actually be hanging off the side of her arm, like so. And just to show her actually holding some of her weapons, here, as you can see, she has no problems holding that really big sword. And just to show, I just put the pistol in the other hand, but she doesn't have a problem holding any of these weapons. Alright guys, that's going to conclude my review here of the Suyata Arya. Sorry if it's a little bit on the lengthy side, but I wanted to make sure that I, covered everything that I could possibly cover to make as thorough of a review as I could. My final thoughts on this kit is, this is a really, really awesome kit. It was super refreshing for me because this is something new to me. But on top of that, it was just a fun build in general. Nothing was overly hard to do. Everything basically on this kit is undergated, which leads to a pretty flawless looking end result straight out of box with really no prep. I never ever sanded anything on this kit. So with that in mind too, as you can see, it renders to a phenomenal result. The fact that it comes with 3 separate kits in one is also a really, really big point for me, because that's a lot of bang for your buck. You don't only get Arya, but you get a huge, awesome motorbike with tons of features and a little dog. And I really, really like that little dog. This is a great kit. It's a great kit for anyone, especially that wants something right out of box that is just going to look great on your shelf and has, good playability. So if you guys would like an Arya of your own, you can head over to USAGundamstore.com. They should be ready and available now. And as always, you can use the code Joey10 to receive 10% off your next order. That's going to do it for me today, guys. So as always, a like and subscribe would be appreciated if you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one.